So this book here cost me about $5,000. It's true. It actually is true. As a result of it, I probably made, a couple few $100,000, and not even from the content that was in the book. It was from a spark of an idea that I got while getting this book and spending that kind of money to get this book. And hopefully I can share with you a little bit of the story to kind of give you that same spark and get you pointed in the right direction. So I know for a fact it was October 15th, 2002. You can see that. I went to this great big marketing event, and there was all kinds of speakers there. It was just a big pitch fest, but it was good information. You always pick up something. You always pick up a good golden nugget and whatever. And one of the speakers there was Robert Allen. And so if you're in the online marketing space or if you're in the real estate space, you probably know who he is. And I think he does a few other things. But really, at the time, especially, just big presence everywhere, right? And at this event, he was selling his training program. And it came on, it was a big giant box. And it literally had, I'm going to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 cassette tapes. 100 cassette tapes. And until about 2 years ago, that box was sitting up here on my shelf. I finally got rid of it because there was so much gold in there. But that's not the point. One of the ways that he got a lot of people to jump out of their seat and run to the back of the room and spend $5,000 on this training program was when he said, and if you buy today, I will throw in my new book, my brand new book, Multiple Streams of Income. And you guys have probably heard that term before. You've heard multiple streams of income before. It's a common term. A lot of people throw that around. They go, you need multiple streams of income. I totally agree that you do. And I would say that it probably came from him. Probably, somebody else probably used it first, but still, he popularized it, at least for me. But the spark that was triggered, there's a lot of great information in the trainings that he sold us. It was fantastic. But the one thing that I got out of that whole event, because remember, there was probably, I'm going to guess 10 at least, maybe 15 different speakers throughout the whole day. It was a big, long day. The only one that I saw that had the big table rush, right? Everybody pops up out of their chairs and runs back to the table, was Robert Allen. And part of the reason for that was because of having a book. Believe it or not, having a book, a simple little thing like having a book, it was eye-opening to me. And that day was the first day that I thought to myself, you know what, in my real estate business, in my service industry business, and if you're a service industry person, or any business for that matter, even fiction writer, whatever, it doesn't matter. You need to listen up because, like I said, I had that spark that I said, okay, well, I'm going to write my own book. But man, how do you do that? Back then, we had big, just giant clackety keyboards with huge TV monitor, screens that we were working on. You had Microsoft Word that you had to install from 48 floppy disks and took 2.5 hours to do. And it was just like that alone, just the idea of sitting down and banging out a book was mind-boggling. It was just like, oh my gosh, how do you do this, right? And back then too, the only people who were getting on the big talk shows were authors. And the reason that they were getting on the talk shows was because they had a book and nobody else did, because it was hard. It was really hard. But that didn't matter. I said, okay, well, I'm going to write a book at some point in time. And I finally said, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. And I'm going to write a book for my business because somebody else, kind of put the bug in my ear that, hey, you know what? Use this book as a door opener to get into your ideal client, right? We've heard this before, especially if you're in business. We've heard this before. It's a great idea in concept, kind of hard to execute, right? Would you agree? Yeah, for me, it was like, man, that is hard. So I sat down and I wrote my first book, and it took me 9 months to write this book. It was crazy. It was a difficult book to write. I didn't know anything about structure. I didn't know anything really about storytelling. I get the concept of storytelling, but and I'm a good storyteller, I think. It was a challenge. It was a challenge. It was a grind. It was a painful grind, right? And so I said, okay, but that's okay. I'm going to get through it. And then what I did, and I'll tell you what the book was. And it kind of doesn't matter because, again, if you're in a service industry, you write something for yourself. But for me, being in real estate, I said, you know what? Let me write a book to teach people how they can sell their house on their own for free without a real estate agent, right? And I'll make that available to anybody who wants it, any homeowner who wants it. I said, okay, here you go. Here's my book. You can learn how to sell your house for free without a real estate agent. Matter of fact, you can even get real estate agents to pay you money to do things for you without ever hiring them to pay them a commission, right? And so it was a really good hook. And I wrote it, but I didn't publish it yet because I had a couple of mental blocks. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in just a second, but I had a couple of mental blocks. It was such a good book, in my opinion. But because it was such a good book, I was so fearful that my competition would get a hold of it. And then they would kind of go through it and they would copy or steal or, and plagiarize whatever it is that I had and start using it and start taking business away from me. And then the second thing that I had was the same thing as if I had 1,000 people reach out to me and say, hey, I want your book, but then they never call me to sell my house, to sell their house, then that was like an expensive, idea. So these were two hangups that I had, but I got over them, and I'll tell you how I did that in just a little bit. Fast forward a little bit. Once I get over those things, I start putting these books out. And let me tell you something, they work like gangbusters. They work like gangbusters. I had people calling me off of the postcards. Instead of sending out postcards that said, we're number one, or just sold, just listed, or, here's the recipe of the day, whatever, real estate agents send out. I sent out a postcard that said, get this book for free. And so I would have people call me up and say, hey, yeah, I want the book. Or they would go online or text me or however I had it set up. I'd go over, I'd give them the book. And then I'd say, hey, but I mean, are you really thinking about doing it yourself? Or are you going to hire an agent? And a good portion of the time, a lot of these guys would say, we're probably just going to hire an agent, but we just wanted to see what this was about. Well, guess what? Because I was the first one there, I had the first conversation. I had a lot of people who say, you know what you're talking about. This is all great information. Why don't you come and sell my house? And so my point is if you're in a service industry and you don't have a book that you can use as a door opener, then you should definitely write a book. I'm going to tell you how you can have a book written in just a few days. And I'm not talking about, hey, Chat GPT, write me a book, right? It spits out some computerized robotic garbage that Amazon will never accept because it's so sterile. No, we're going to show you how to write a book in your style, in your voice, and then put it out to Amazon or whatever other publishing platform that you want. If you want to do this, right? I suggest it. I really, really do, because when I wrote this book, it was a while ago. And then the information started getting outdated. So I kind of was feeling a little bit reluctant to keep pushing it out there, which is stupid on my part. Nevertheless, it's what I did. I just stopped pushing it out there. And as a result, I wasn't getting as much business and stuff like that. And when I say outdated, I mean, like in the book, it would say things like, hey, go run an ad in the newspaper. For those of you who don't know, it's a thing we used to pick up off the driveway every morning and find out what was going on in the world. But I am getting ready to start my new journey on writing another few books. And I am friends with, acquaintances with a guy named Perry Belcher. This guy, in my opinion, very, very smart marketer. Very smart marketer, made more money than any of us who are watching this video will ever make. And he is doing a training coming up where he's going to show you how to write a book the right way, how to do it in a way where you can use AI to assist you, not write for you, but assist you so that it makes it just beautiful, perfect, but do it in your style and your voice and your personality. So when people read it, they're going, okay, this is a really well-written book, and we know it's from her or him or whatever, right? It's not some, like I said, robotic book that was just put out. Okay, so he's going to show you how to do this, and I want to invite you to come and do that and go to imanauthor.com. imanauthor.com. Okay, no apostrophe after the I, so it's just imanauthor.com. And when you go there, you're going to see what they're offering. Look, it's less than $100 to take this training. It's a 3-day training, but I guarantee you, just because I know him, I've been in his house. I spent 3 days in his house learning from him some other techniques on some other aspects of business. What sold me on him in the beginning was he has what's called a no a-hole policy, right? And why that's important is because that makes his refund policy amazing. If you're not happy, you don't like what it is, you go through the entire training, all 3 days, you get whatever resources he provides, the links, everything, and then you go, it wasn't for me. It wasn't the thing that I was expecting. I really didn't like what it was. I don't think I got what I was supposed to get out of it. You send an email to support and instantly they will refund you. And the reason is because with that policy, the no a-hole policy, they will, they don't want people in their ecosystem who don't like or understand or want to be part of whatever it is that they're teaching, and they're perfectly fine with, and they send you on your way. On the other hand, if it works and you're really good, now you're part of a community that you can bounce ideas and share and and connect and whatever with other people like myself. You can reach out to me and say, hey, here's my idea, what do you think? And I'd be happy to share with you. Go to imanauthor.com and just look. But here's the thing, I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus. This is my bonus. If you go there and you sign up using that link, imanauthor.com, yes, that's my affiliate link, but I promise you, I am not getting rich from sending you an affiliate link to something that's less than $100. Okay, I promise you that. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't cost you anything extra if you use my link or if you use somebody else's link. It's all the same. So just use that link. And when you use that link, I will see that you have used that link. And I'm going to send you a little bonus that I have that I think is incredibly valuable, especially if you're in a service industry, right? Remember, I told you I had a mental issue about putting the book out, and I was afraid of my competition saying, hey, we're going to steal your stuff and we're going to use it as well and all this stuff. And then also sending out thousands of them and going, oh my gosh, nobody called me to sell their house. Well, what I came up with, and this isn't my idea, but I learned the concept from another great internet marketer. His name is Jim Edwards. And if you ever see his stuff, go follow him. He's a brilliant online marketer. And he called it winning even when you're losing. I think that's what he called it. And basically what it means is that when somebody gets your book, if it's your competitor, there's a way to make your competitor pay you for reading your book. It happens. And I know for a fact, because even to this day, from time to time, not very often anymore, but back then a whole lot more, I just get a thing that comes up and says, hey, you made $250. I'm like, whoa, holy smokes. Okay. And that means, and I know for a fact, because of the way that this mechanism is built, it is very specifically, I know a real estate agent is reading that book. I know it beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's no question. Okay. Now, same thing for all those homeowners. You get if I get 1,000 homeowners who say, Anthony, I want your book. I take them the book. I send it to them. However, we decide we're going to get it to them. And they go, that's fantastic stuff. I'm going to share this with my cousin who just got her license 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to have them sell my house. Well, guess what? There's also things in there that for the homeowner, that when they use those things, I make money as well. And I'm going to share with you, when I see your name come up on that list, I will send you a video like this where I will share with you how I do this and how what it does is it pays for the book. And anyways, look, go to imanauthor.com. You got nothing to lose. There is nothing to lose. 100% money back guarantee. If you don't like it, just request a refund. So go check it out. Go sign up. imanauthor.com. And I got to get back to work here. Home ownership, always something to fix. We'll talk to you later.